You ever notice how Half-Life ruined FPS games? I see Half-Life as the bridge from Doom to Doom 3.
You're gonna need to hold still. Moving around only makes the test take longer.
At the time of its release, it may have been a fresh take on first-person shooting compared to the storyless standard, but developers have learned nothing but the wrong lessons from its more story-driven approach to game design. Somehow, more story-driven has progressively devolved into shallow, boring, linear, and scripted. We can't just shoot enemies, we have to wait for an unskippable cutscene or a walking section with slow as shit movement and dumbed-down combat. Somehow, dodging attacks went out of style and hiding behind a wall went in. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with a good story being blended with good gameplay, but not everyone is Valve. It seems to me as the popularity of gaming grows, the biggest releases just get simpler and simpler. Aiming down sights basically only exists because it's hard to aim with a controller, so it lowers the sensitivity and incentivizes the player to use it by making the default aim inaccurate as fuck. There's a 2-weapon limit because it's hard to switch a large inventory on a controller. Hitscan became the status quo because pointing and clicking is easier than actual weapon mechanics. Default movement became sluggish because it's hard to aim when you're going fast. So instead, there's a sprint button, which usually lowers your gun. Not exactly what a player wants in a shooter. Enemy types tend not to go beyond enemy with more health, shotgun enemy, and if you're really lucky, weak point enemy. The hit scan, cover, and regenerating health bases combined with a slow movement speed doesn't exactly allow for the most varied combat. When developers actually try to add depth, all they seem to come up with is a one-button gimmick that doesn't actually change anything. Gone is moving to avoid projectiles, resource management, enemy types, weapon types, and fast movement. If your FPS is combat, you know, the S in FPS, isn't very enjoyable on its own, then it forces devs to fall back on non-gameplay elements. So levels stopped looking like this, turned into more of this, and started being called campaigns. A straight line with carefully planned and paced set pieces, cutscenes, and then some combat mixed in. Combat deep enough to be enjoyed for a small amount of time before you're back to walking with your weapon lowered, listening to someone talk in a non-interactive set piece. I mean, why do you think everyone bashed the Clash in the Clouds DLC for BioShock Infinite? Because the combat fucking sucks and there's no story to keep the player motivated. The least interesting parts of the whole game are when it relies on the shooting. I don't know about you, but for me, in a first-person shooter, that's pretty unforgivable. I thoroughly enjoyed Wolfenstein: The New Order. It was one of the better modern FPSs and a step in the right direction, focusing on making good combat encounters and characters instead of just using them as filler. But I still kept finding myself hugging a wall, waiting for health to regenerate, and taking unavoidable damage. The devs knew this since boss fights involve taking hit scan damage but following a trail of health packs so you don't die. Well, one has to wonder, why is it designed to be unavoidable damage anyway? If you sat player down and asked, do you enjoy hiding behind cover? Do you enjoy sprint at the cost of weapon use? Do you enjoy slow movement speeds? Do you enjoy weapon limits? How many people would actually say yes? When did these elements making games unfun become the unquestioned standard? And why?
As he always will, to feast on the blood of the wicked.
Doom is a metal-infused dick slap to modern design trends. Everything the FPS genre has been copying from Call of Duty since 2007 is thrown out, and with a knowing smile. Reloading? Fuck off with that time-wasting shit, I want to shoot demons! Cover? Do I look like some kind of pussy? QTE boss fights? Please. Sprint? Yeah, sorry Junior, Doom 3 is that way. The only thing that can make this Doom more Doom is center view weapon.
I mean, it's terrific, right?
Doom's level design asks the question, how can we best facilitate gameplay, instead of whatever Battlefield 3 was asking. Every second of combat demands a new input from the player. In other words, it's fun. I realize in my angsty rant, I might have used some terms not everyone knows. Hit scan refers to weapon damage that registers automatically, usually used for automatic bullet-based weapons. It means when you're hit, no projectile is being moved in real time. In games like Duke Nukem 3D, this can be avoided by fast movement. In games like Call of Duty, you just kinda get hit and are forced into cover. Not to say this didn't happen in old games, but it was never what the entire combat system revolved around. Hit-scan enemies were usually used mechanically, so in a group, your attention is focused to them while you're doing something else like avoiding a projectile. If you want an excellent example of how this can ruin the pace of combat, try playing Serious Sam 3. Doom's no-cover approach means the player is always doing something in combat, not waiting for a cooldown to get back out and actually have fun. So, what makes shooting fun? Obviously, different people have different tastes, so if you just really fucking love hugging walls, good for you, champ. Doom is a combat puzzle being very quickly solved in the player's head. Each enemy serves a different gameplay function, and they're not fucking around. Enemies will split up to flank, chase while others hang back to shoot, climb walls, fly, navigate to vantage points, and they do all of this while more or less serving the same mechanical purpose as they did in their original. Fighting a group of imps on their own is interesting because of their varied tactics. According to SnapMap, there's 3 different types of imps: Sentinels, range attackers, horde, melee attackers, and the standard imp, which does both. But throw in a Hell Knight and now you need to prioritize being chased by a strong melee attacker with much more health. Pinkies used to serve as area of denial enemies, and that worked because of the 2D nature of Doom, the old one. That idea was clearly the inspiration for the new bull-like Pinky, who you have to get behind to do any damage to. Interesting in their own right, but with Lost Souls on the playing field serving basically as really fast homing missiles, now you need to dodge the Pinky's charge, kill the Lost Souls before they hit, and yeah, there's still those imps. Revenants shoot a constant straight line of damage that forces movement. Cacodemons are flying bullet sponges with a very strong bite and projectile. Mancubusi are similar but more stationary, with an area of denial attack that can be dodged with a double jump. The Cyber Mancubus is a much stronger version with a higher rate of fire that can block movement by making the floor corrosive. The Baron of Hell is another chaser, but he also shoots a projectile on top of the Hell Knight's attacks. The new Hellraiser blocks movement with a beam that goes across the map until it hits something. Combine all that with the fact that enemies lead shots, meaning they shoot where you're going to be if you continue in that direction too long, and the buttery smooth, responsive movement. Dodging is fun and interesting in itself. So the fun from shooting comes from prioritizing enemies' importance, moving around different patterns accounting for enemies leading shots, and maximizing your damage output by utilizing the right weapon at the right time. It gets crazy when you consider just how fast each of these decisions is being made in the player's head. Once you subconsciously get into the rhythm, or dance, of combat, that's when the game becomes truly thrilling, and one of the best first-person shooting experiences of the last decade. You'll be watching and listening for each and every movement or growl going on around you, accounting for each animation telegraphing the next attack. Make one mistake, lose the rhythm, and you're as good as dead because of the very high damage from even the smallest attack. Which gets into my biggest complaint about the game. It may sound like I want Doom's dick in my mouth, but I don't think it's perfect, believe it or not. In fact, the problems I do have with it aren't exactly small. I hope you're ready for this review to get autistic as shit because I'm about to become a walking thesaurus. As you can tell, I love the core combat and balance of Doom. Anyone who's played the game could tell you I'm not using many runes or weapon upgrades, and the reason behind that is because they're mostly all bullshit. The absurd amount of glowing praise I've been giving the game comes with quite the list of stipulations. It's as if the developers designed this perfect, hard as nails yet finely tuned FPS and decided it was too hard. This is based purely on speculation, as not many people discuss the upgrades being overpowered, but really, what other conclusion can you come to? So let's just get this out of the way. If you're not playing on Nightmare, you're not playing the game. The difference between the AI's intelligence, reaction time, shot leading, and damage is really well distributed throughout each of the difficulty settings, but anything other than Nightmare is a cakewalk that feels like a completely different game. Even after my stupid amount of playthroughs, I'm still on the edge of my seat on Nightmare. Unfortunately, even on the hardest settings, the game's balance is still thrown off by upgrade trees. Take a shot every time I say the word upgrade if you want to die. Like I do. Suit upgrades, weapon upgrades, runes, Argent cells. Jesus Christ, just fuck off, I want to shoot demons. Many modern games are plagued by meaningless upgrade systems that feel like total afterthoughts and don't actually contribute to the core gameplay. Doom isn't the only retro shooter revival to have this problem. Starting off with weapon upgrades, guns either start as utterly useless and rely on upgrades to be properly balanced, are already balanced to pristine shine and become ridiculously overpowered when upgraded, or have bare basic features such as bullet penetration. Penetration. Locked off as an upgrade. Take the super shotgun for example. Learning the range, bullet spread, amount of shots needed to cause a stagger, and timing a shot to coincide between a demon's next attack is a genuine skill. An unskilled player can take 2 shots to kill an imp, wasting a lot of time. Learning the game mechanics speed things up, rewarding the player naturally. Upgrade the hell out of it and none of that matters anymore. Spray 2 shots with no consequence and get an almost instant reload. That takes all of the fun out of using the super shotgun, one of my favorite weapons in video games. And don't get me started on the pistol, the most useless piece of shit in the game. So awful that its existence as something that was worked on by hundreds of different people and approved by all of them is utterly baffling. Yeah, the original Doom pistol wasn't exactly good, but the developers seemingly took that one's shittiness as a personal challenge to make something worse. Forget about doing any kind of damage with the default fire, which for some reason has the accuracy of the minigun and the damage of a slingshot. And have fun waiting a few years for the alt fire to charge while it slows your movement. Upgrades lower the charge and remove the slowed movement, which shouldn't have even been a thing, but even with that, at best it just causes stagger for lower demons and no effect on anything higher than a soldier. So why would any players waste their upgrade points on an awful gun just to make it slightly less bad? By the time you have enough upgrade points to max out the pistol, it won't even be useful anymore, despite that being the only way it becomes a viable gun. In a game where each weapon serves mechanical purpose, the pistol's only purpose being shit isn't a good thing. A good weapon tends to have some sort of risk-reward system in place. The heavy assault rifle does hit scan damage, but it's not very strong, unlike the plasma gun that shoots projectiles but does a lot more damage. Upgrades like the mobile turret mastery for the minigun and siege mode on the Gauss cannon essentially remove the risk-reward factor in place, making the weapons all reward. This kind of thing can be fun, but not if it makes enemies non-challenging. What makes an encounter engaging is dodging attacks while causing staggers. There's nothing fun about effortlessly mowing down demons before they have time to react, unless that slaughter is caused by mastery of the game's mechanics and not bullshit upgrades that just make the game easy. I have a few theories as to why the weapon upgrades are how they are, as well as why some guns aren't as balanced as perfect as they could be. In Doom, the fucking old one, an entire level can be designed around the idea that players will or won't have a certain weapon. To keep the game mechanically interesting, as well as to support the episodic structure, the player's inventory is frequently stripped to nothing. Levels would play out incredibly different if you had a full inventory the whole time. Oh yeah, and you can beat the game in just a few hours, which was much more standard back then. So Doom, the new one, Jesus, why didn't they just call it Doom fucking 4? Has an interesting problem. While trying to remain faithful to the original's weapon design, it also has to meet modern standards of an at least 10-hour single player without an episodic release schedule. The weapons inherently can't have the same functionality as in the original because you're carrying around all of them all the time. As a result, they're generally weaker than their classic counterparts, which is a fine trade-off. With that said, the overpowering upgrades are especially confusing and cause some weapons to be too weak initially. I assume the upgrades were implemented to add length and depth to the game, but people who don't like first-person shooting would and did criticize the game for being repetitive anyway. I fundamentally believe the game's mechanics are strong enough to carry the experience without tacked on upgrades. Upgrade, upgrade, upgrade! Are you as fucking tired of hearing that word as I am?
Where do you think you're going?
Ashore.
The captain give you permission?
No, Hercules needs no permission.
Not on this ship, you don't. Now get your carcass below.
Get yours!
Haha, well you haven't heard anything yet. Argent cells upgrade health, ammo, and armor, but it feels totally unnatural on every level. The game starts with you running out of ammo every second, only able to take 1 or 2 hits before you die, but ends with you feeling like you entered some kind of cheat code or something. Rather than properly balancing the health levels or ammo, the game relies on Argent cells far too much to a serious detriment. Starting a new run of the game feels like a slog. Glory kills don't give enough ammo, and I can only hold 20 shotgun shells. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? Health upgrades are fine, but there shouldn't be so many of them that the default health makes me feel like I'm not in a badass hell-infused set of power armor. Armor, since I brought it up, also only serves as a second health bar rather than, you know, armor. I mean, don't get me wrong, I enjoy being forced to dodge attacks and everything is nicely telegraphed, but this is fucking ridiculous. Instead of relying so heavily on Argent cells for health, they could have done something similar to Serious Sam and given out mega healths before big fights that temporarily double the max health. Anything would have been better than a first half that's totally unbalanced and second that's far too easy. Alright, now let's discuss some motherfucking runes, yo! Oh god, is this video over yet? All runes are bullshit. There, I just shaved a good 5 minutes off my video. So if I spend too much time on runes and suit upgrades individually, we're gonna be here all day. For convenience, I'll be dividing runes and suit upgrades into 2 categories: meaningless bullshit and crutches for retards. Don't worry guys, I know no one watching my videos is a retard. As a developer, when designing an upgrade, you should ask yourself, does this contribute to the gameplay in any meaningful way? If the answer is no, it's probably meaningless bullshit. Question number 2. Does the upgrade remove a skill ceiling the player would otherwise have to overcome? If yes, that's probably a crutch for retards. Vacuum. Increases the range you can absorb dropped items. Okay, whatever. No reason that couldn't have been compromised to make a better default balance, but it's one of the first runes you find, so who cares? Dazed and confused. Increase how long demons remain in a stagger state. Seek and destroy. Launch into glory kills from much further away. Savagery. Perform glory kills faster. Both of these are crutches for retards for the same reasons. Just like a good weapon, the glory kill system works because it manages risk and reward so well. Glory kills are a risk because every second of combat runs the chance of you getting hit, which can be detrimental when just a few fireballs is the difference between life and death. Timing a glory kill so you're not immediately hit after it's done and have enough time to move in once a demon is staggered relies on the player's understanding of the game mechanics. Speeding up glory kills and making the distance required for them so lenient removes any risk factor involved, yet doesn't decrease your payout or reward. Ammo boost. Increase the value of ammo received from demons. You know, maybe if the base value wasn't so low, this upgrade wouldn't be necessary. Meaningless bullshit. Equipment power. Increase effectiveness of equipment items. Oh my god, how exciting. All I use is the grenade, and I never even noticed this when I had it equipped. Meaningless bullshit. In-air flight mobility, or as I like to call it, God mode. Once you equip this rune, good luck dying, because it takes actual effort. The controls for the game feel incredibly responsive and smooth. There's a perfect balance between control and resistance that makes platforming and timing jumps in combat fun. It may sound like a small thing, but for me it was like not knowing what you have until it's gone. Controlling my jumps and dedicating to them to avoid attacks was something I didn't realize I was doing subconsciously until I first equipped the in-air control rune, and all of a sudden the game was significantly easier. For example, enemies leading shots is a fun challenge because the player has to bait a shot by moving in one direction and then change that movement at the last second and jump out of the way. You guessed it, this ceases to be a gameplay factor once the in-air mobility rune is equipped. No matter what, you can avoid any shots mid-air without a second thought. Fighting a Hell Knight was fun because his melee attacks blocked small amounts of movement. Now you can just jump out of the way and fly right back in without touching the ground. Crutch for retards, if you haven't guessed. Armored Offensive. Glory kill demons, drop armor. Meaningless bullshit. Here's the only one I actually really love. Blood Fueled. Move faster for a short amount of time after a glory kill. This rune doesn't fall into meaningless bullshit or crutch for retards. For once, it actually complements the game mechanics already in place, adding further incentive to take the risk for a glory kill to receive a higher reward.
So can you believe how much I am in heaven? I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym, I'm getting the feeling of coming at home, I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up, when I pose out in front of 5,000 people, I get the same feeling. So I'm coming day and...
Oh yeah, and did I forget to mention how each rune has its own checklist to be upgraded even further? You know, just in case you weren't already waiting around for demons to spawn. Now, if you thought that was nitpicking, get ready for some shit. Nothing encapsulates the essence of crutch for retards more than suit upgrades. Most runes or weapon trees can be passed off as overall irrelevant, but predator upgrades are seemingly designed to directly undermine basic game mechanics. Environmental resistance. Maybe if the player isn't fucking stupid, they could figure out how not to blow themselves up with their own rocket. And barrels? How do those work? It's not like if you get close to them, the explosion will harm you or anything. Area scanning technology. You know what sounds like a fantastic idea? Let's make these intricate, well-designed secrets in our maps and encourage exploration. And ready? Get this. Just tell the player where they are. Genius! Equipment system. I hate to reiterate the same point, but maybe if the equipment wasn't initially useless, we wouldn't need an upgrade tree for it. Golly gee, I wonder. Power-up effectiveness. Inherent to their nature, power-ups are incredibly useful. When I pick one up, I literally run out of demons to kill. These descriptions reek of desperation to simply add more and more shit to upgrade. Like the power-up that gives a player insta-kills needs more functionality. I mean, if you disagree, that's fine, but power-ups are so infrequent, why would anyone sink their points into them instead of something that directly affects the majority of gameplay? And now I save the best for last. Dexterity. Switch weapons and grab ledges faster. Since the original Doom all the way back in 1993, weapon switching has been a mechanic in itself. The pause between a weapon switch forces the player to know what they're doing in combat. Yeah, something as minute as a half-second delay adds to gameplay, believe it or not. Making weapon switches instantaneous is just another example of upgrades babying the player instead of adding new meaningful mechanics. The ledge grab being sped up ties back to what I said about timing jumps. As simple as it may be, timing a jump or ledge grab adds just that much more micromanagement to the already frantic combat. Now let me be clear here, none none of these upgrades ruin the game in of themselves. The problem is with all of them combined and utilized as intended, you feel indestructible. Enemies become non-challenging. Higher tier demons meant to raise stakes become a joke. You'll be standing around waiting for demons to spawn in, begging for a challenge, instead of experiencing the wave-based pacing in fights designed to steadily increase difficulty. Rarely does a battle start with rip and tear blaring in the background. There's careful build-up and pacing that's lost when you're an unstoppable god of death.
I mean, it couldn't help but feel a little bit repetitive after a while for me. Firefights always follow the same formula. Small demons spawn in, then some bigger ones, and then a few big ones.
Stop talking.
It's still glorifying the violence.
I said shut up! Now let's get real here for a second. Most people kinda fucking suck at the game. Now this isn't based on my extensive replays for review purpose or sense of elitism. It's pretty self-explanatory when watching almost anyone's review or walkthrough. People often miss simple shots, find the basic platforming sections difficult, or rely on these upgrades I've so heavily criticized.
See how overpowered this fucking thing is? It's pretty overpowered.
There's nothing wrong with catering to as large a player base as possible, and it's admirable that id managed to do this while also making a game for the core audience. It would have been easy to straight up make a game for idiots, and from early builds we've seen, that's essentially what they were doing. Something I failed to mention in this review thus far is the graphics are fucking stunning on top of the impeccable performance even on consoles. Such a feat could never have been accomplished from an independent studio even with a quarter of the budget. Fact is, we don't get many fast projectile-based FPS games. Shadow Warrior 2 came out the same year, and a quick comparison of an enemy model from that game to Doom's, well, the difference is night and day. You know, there's nothing wrong with a few upgrade systems, but they should complement the gameplay and difficulty should be balanced around them. As a series known for pioneering the FPS genre, I would argue they have no place anyway, but the fact is they're here, and not balanced properly. Now, am I saying you should play with no upgrades and I'm better than you for not using many of them? Yeah. So here's the million-dollar question. Why are these upgrades implemented at all? It's not just about making the game easier. Because of the new health and ammo system based on gaining resources from killing demons, classic 90s level design based on using resources as incentive for exploration simply wouldn't have worked. Not to say this idea was completely abandoned, as health, ammo, and armor are still very useful pickups worth looking for, but despite that, the player is always carrying around the chainsaw, an instant kill that replenishes an overall small yet balanced portion of ammo. Unless you just upgrade your ruins, then it's just fucking easy mode. So almost all the time when a player needs ammo, it's immediately available. This is balanced by the fact that higher tier demons need more chainsaw ammo and you can't carry around too much of it, but the point remains, ammo and health don't have the same value as in the original, so levels can't be crafted around them. Even though I don't personally use all the points rewarded, I'm always searching around for alternate pathways that lead to secrets because the levels are just so damn well designed. It would have been all too easy to make a shooting gallery like Doom 3 or constant arenas like Serious Sam. Each level has a clear route to the end, and deviating from that always makes the player feel clever and rewarded for their time. I want to praise this game like everyone else, but this effect of natural player-driven exploration is lost if you utilize the area scanning technology upgrades and the compass. Speaking of the compass, before you start the game, head on over to the options menu and turn all this shit off! Navigation beacons in games are what's ruining level design. Why naturally present the player with a goal, guide them through the level to gain access to said goal, and have it all interconnected in the end when you can just have an arrow that says, "Go this way, you dumb fuck"? That's what I mean when I describe a level as intricate. It's a tried and true formula FPS games used when they were, you know, actually focused on gameplay. I wouldn't feel so strongly about this if I didn't believe the level design was good enough to guide the player naturally. Doom's modern answer to classic level design is to have an obvious path to the end and secrets with upgrade points as incentive for exploration and backtracking. Taking a look around always leads to something interesting that relies on the player remembering certain locked doors, observing surroundings, or pulling off more difficult platforming than what's found on the direct path. My favorite part from a level design perspective is from level 2, Resource Operations. The player is presented with 2 yellow locked doors. After a fight and elevator ride, you come across a weapon mod upgrade and yellow keycard. You could waste it on the 2 weapons available at the time, or advance forward to the more obvious yellow door to find the heavy assault rifle, backtrack, and get the oh-so-satisfying missile mod. Go back to the second yellow door that can be easily missed to unlock this hatch and find the plasma gun 2 levels early. Now you can choose between upgrading your shotgun, heavy assault rifle, or plasma gun. By the way, anyone who chooses heat blast over stun is a faggot. Discovering this on your own feels immensely rewarding and makes the pace of levels feel faster by having more weapons at your disposal that actually end up feeling earned. It also makes dealing with these shield guys who no one likes, introduced soon after, a lot easier. Some people pan the first few levels as boring, but for various examples like this, I feel they're more interesting than the more linear second half of the game and a lot more Doom-like too. It would be dishonest to say every map is designed in this fashion, since lockdown arenas and points of no return are a big factor of the level design, especially in the second half. But unlike a lot of critics, I'm actually okay with this. Level design had to differ from the original Dooms because of the more advanced AI and higher value of an individual demon. Whereas Doom, the fucking old one, focused on disposable filler enemies that are absent in Doom. All caps, TM. With these changes in mind, the lockdown and arena-based combat design makes sense. If the level wasn't locked down, the demons would chase the player throughout the map instead of standing in place like in a 90s FPS. It could lead to too many demons being spawned in at once. There was clearly a focus on graphical and animation fidelity for each individual demon, and that inevitably leads to these kinds of limitations, like the corpses disappearing after 1 second, which is really disappointing when the ragdoll physics are so good and injuries so detailed. Hey, speaking of gore, I'm a sadist, so the gore in this game was pretty disappointing, despite what media hype would have you believe, saying it's like the goriest game of all time. There really isn't as much blood as there should be. While the animations and injuries on bodies is very impressive, they almost never spew blood on the environment, and when they do, it's a strangely small amount for a head being detached from its neck. Bodies can explode into pure blood and not splatter on anything.
The blood splatter on impact will happen only if there is a surface right behind the character or if something was blown off. You will see blood puffs going into nowhere without staining anything. And speaking of spilling that goes into nowhere, you have the huge blood spray on beheadings too. I also think the game should be spawning more stains, especially when it comes to obliteration, which is so damn common here.
When you pick up some weapons, they're covered in blood from a corpse. Hey, wouldn't it have been cool if some of that blood explosion got on your gun? They could have just reused this effect. Looks great. Sorta like in Serious Sam Rise of the Triad. Bodies and gibs will blow apart to a completely spotless floor, which just sucks. I guess it isn't a big deal since it all disappears after 1 second anyway. But this game from 2013 had much better blood and corpses despite its much smaller budget. Hey, just saying. If I bring up Serious Sam one more time, please shoot me. What the fuck was I talking about? The game focuses on combat more than any other Doom game because it has the AI and mechanics to support it, if you play on Nightmare that is. This is why the last level is almost just a sequence of arenas. It's a culmination of what the game was building towards in a way. Intense combat from all angles. Secret hunting, button pressing, and exposition dumps, believe me, I'll talk about that, in between arenas is what the game uses to pace fights, and it works. Mostly. What I'm getting at is everything around the arenas exists to facilitate the arenas. But I also can't deny the pure adrenaline rush of demons coming at you from every corner, crawling all over walls and flanking, which isn't really possible in a more controlled, maze-like environment. If the combat wasn't as good as it is, this design philosophy would have fallen flat on its face, like certain other id games. It's basically as good as a modern AAA 90s throwback could have possibly been, let alone what about Doom, and especially when compared to its contemporaries. So yeah, I think it works. On the first playthrough, I find the shockingly in-depth lore and motivation behind doing something as stupid as building hell portals interesting. There's a perfect balance of self-awareness and dark humor about itself that Doom 3 was completely lacking, taking the concept of spooky demons and occult science dead seriously. I mean, Christ, you have a demon officially labeled Zombie Man, for fuck's sakes. What really sucks is on repeated playthroughs, the scripted lockdown segments are annoying as hell. Oh fuck, I tried to see how long I can go without saying hell as a curse word. Lockdown segments are annoying as heck, made worse by the fact that they're completely unskippable in any way. Samuel Hayden does not have a face. We don't need to be locked in a room with him for 5 minutes while he talks. Usually his exposition dumps are delivered via radio chatter while the player actually does something, like walk to the next goal.
The service elevator is at the end of the hall.
I mean, yeah, the background detail giving insight into the lore is cool and all, but maybe the player can activate the elevator themselves? As Doom Guy has passionately expressed his love for pressing buttons. Someone who didn't know the elevator was the way out on their first playthrough probably wouldn't do this and will just follow the talking robot. Maybe someone on their second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth replay will and can do it themselves. All of this just to set up the BFG level and tease the gun itself as the coolest thing ever. Works the first time around, if you like the story, ruins repeated playthroughs. Generally speaking, there's only 1 or 2 lockdown and listen areas each level, if that, and they're usually very short.
Instant upgrading your arsenal at an accelerated pace. I have added a tracking component to your dossier.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up. But there's this one fucking computer room that I dread listening to, and it's the worst example by far. Could have been summed up in a few sentences, only exists to hype the next level and explain the current one, without the decency to at least let the player walk around. Yeah? Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah, I need to go here and do this. Okay. Yeah, shut, can you stop talking now? Thing with the story is, it's not a story in that it has characters with arcs or a beginning, middle, and end. The characters, exposition dumps, and mandatory scripted events all exist to build up and give context to combat. This was definitely the best approach for a Doom story, and beats what everyone had in mind when picturing modern Doom reboot, especially those early builds. Jesus Christ. Levels last around an hour long on the first playthrough, compared to a classic Doom level that lasts, like, 5 minutes tops. So having some scripted stuff to pad out combat is a fine pace breaker, and it's kept brief enough in comparison to serious Metal Gear Solid 4. Most levels follow the formula I described, the worst technically designed ones having parts that are just giant straight lines, but the gradual build to that makes it less retarded. Slightly. Even the most criticized last level that's essentially 4 arenas straight still has fun secrets, alternate paths, and a health trap. Remember those? By this point in the game, I definitely feel the combat is strong enough to carry it, if you're the kind of person who loves fast, twitch-based action and dislikes handholding. The more open maps are clearly designed to appeal to both casual and core gamers, and it's done so well it comes off as effortless. Bit of a catch-22 when the incentive that makes levels interesting is also the one thing that detracts from combat. But even if you're not on the ADHD spectrum, there's still plenty of variety in the level design and visuals that keep the game feeling fresh. There's a lot of loving care put into the visual design, and what's most commendable is it's not entirely just baseless. In every aspect, from the level design, art style, to even the music, which doesn't need my praise, careful tribute is paid to almost every Doom game. Even the good aspects of the worst one were used to inspire the design of the UAC, and that feels right at home, yet fresh and modern. Right when the game starts to feel repetitive, you get the double jump in a platforming level. Some jumping, scripted exposition, then the super shotgun, and an arena built to utilize it. That is, unless you're a bad enough dude and found the super shotgun a few levels back. There's also an auto map and a little platforming secret underneath, as well as a health station. It's good pacing, and different levels have different styled arenas too. Demons behave different in a maze-like or corridor environment than they do in open areas. There's good variety in enemy placement and challenge, although a lot of demons were really underutilized. I can count the number of times on my hand these dudes were placed around a combat arena as small distractions, which is the only time they work as an enemy. They're mostly used as free glory kills or pace-breaking fodder, but unlike in Doom 3, the movement speed is fast enough that they're too trivial. The Pinky is introduced around halfway into the game, and as a result didn't get enough screen time or unique placement. Chasing around the Summoner and avoiding its deadly projectiles while its Hell Knights chase you is pretty fun, but overall I felt that challenge was rarely presented, especially in the last level where it could have significantly ramped up the difficulty. Add to this, Summoners sometimes don't spawn Hell Knights at all, depending on the level they stick to lower demons or lost souls, which is a pretty big letdown. Hey, speaking of the last level, it's shit! Even it is afraid to spawn more than 2 Baron of Hells at once, despite that previously being the big finale to an entire level 3 times already. I mean, if you think just throwing 4 Barons at you is too much, get creative with it. Have 2 Cyber Mancubists far off in the distance while 2 other Barons chase you this time. Maybe throw in a Summoner, you know, raise the intensity instead of just doing the same thing 4 times. The last arena that caps off the entire game before a boss fight feels just as difficult as the one before and does very little to differentiate itself in terms of design. It has more intricate layers and jump pads, which is awesome, but they're just introduced in that level and feel like they can be expanded upon so much more rather than it just ending right there. Give me more Doom, damn it! Not to say the game should just spawn random assortments of enemies, which would have really just been lazy, but the bestiary of all monsters allows for so much creativity, and I was kinda let down by the last level. Not that it isn't fun or hard as shit, or would be without the upgrade system needing self-imposed restraint, which is the problem. Oh yeah, 20 minutes ago when I said, which gets into my biggest complaint about the game. It may sound like I want Doom's dick in my mouth, but I don't think it's perfect, believe it or not. And didn't explain what I meant? Yeah, that's what I meant. It took this long.
You're still here?
Without self-imposed limitation, the game starts to feel repetitive, boring, and samey. Simply put, the upgrade system makes you use less of your brain. I have a doctorate in psychology, I know these things. Somewhere beneath menus and menus of upgrade trees, there's one of the best modern FPS games that reminds us an FPS can actually be built around fast game mechanics.
The most satisfying feeling you can get in the gym is the pump.
And then this cock tease ending. Fuck you, it sucked in the original too. I just want more. Why is all the DLC for the multiplayer? Just do a half-assed reskin with the same assets. Just more. And harder. Give me combat with platforming instead of just toying with the idea. Jump pads, multiple floors, and enough demons that force you to navigate through them. I'm only harsh because I care, is what I was told growing up by my uncle. But wait, I hear all of you saying, it's been 30 fucking minutes, shut up! I mean, hey, what about that level editor? Yeah, what's it called? Snap crap! Thank you, I'll be here all week. Hey, have you ever made a map in SnapMap? Yeah, I don't blame you. So if Doom never had its source code released, it wouldn't have been half as influential as it is today. Doom's modding scene is alive, thriving, and growing to this day. Within the span of a single year, it's outlived and dominated the SnapMap community. Not that such a thing ever existed. Which is in large part to the friendly, inviting Doom forum community. Modding is just as integral to the identity of Doom as its combat. Anyone who plays the game would know this, and I'm sure the developers aren't retarded. I mean, I'm starting to question that. And neither are their publishers, Bethesda Softworks. With their recent attempts to monetize Skyrim and Fallout 4 mods, they clearly have an understanding of the importance of modding. SnapMap comes off as an attempt to bring this aspect of Doom to the console audience, which is very admirable, but the PC version gets proper modding tools, right?
Are you gonna, obviously, mods and things on the PC, are you gonna let people have, I mean, eventually I'm sure there will be mod tools, we'll be making mods.
Everything that we're doing on the mod side is gonna be through SnapMap.
Okay.
Alright, so they're doubling down. SnapMap is so fucking good as an editor that they won't be allowing actual mods. Genius.
It's important to underscore, this thing is, it's not unlike the Fallout stuff where this thing is powerful enough that, it's what the devs use to make the game. So it's not like some nerfed down dumb thing.
Hey guys, I know what I just said was fucking stupid, but get this.
Because the game doesn't care, the game doesn't even know.
This is like if Bethesda didn't allow mods for Fallout 4 and said they were instead focusing on the settlement mechanics. As SnapMap was advertised as a third of the game, I'll be judging it as such. So big, apparently, they have to restart the game to get to it. As in, you have to start the game, wait for the loading screen, press SnapMap, another 5-minute loading screen, then you can play SnapMap. Why do you think I have 500 hours in this game? You think that shit was actually spent playing? No, out of that 500, probably only 2 or 3 were spent doing anything. I don't actually like this game very much. So despite being one of the best console editors ever released, like that's saying much, SnapMap is a piece of shit, an insult to Doom fans who could have otherwise made this game a fuckload more money by creating amazing original content free of SnapMap's laughable limitations. Remember everyone, endless possibilities. Oh god, where do I even begin? There's so much! Why is there a 2-weapon limit? Why is there no weapon mods? Why can't I play as Doom Guy? Why is there numbers everywhere? Why is there a hit marker? Why is there no runes? Oh wait, I don't give a shit about that. What the fuck were they thinking? SnapMap released in an unforgivably limiting and shit state. From the start, we were promised updates, but that's no excuse for the bare bones way it was released that tainted everyone's initial impressions. Anyone who bought the game and tried out this little feature, maybe excited to make some single player content, would be severely disappointed. And because of the ridiculous loading time, they probably wouldn't stick around for the impending updates. This game was in development for God knows how long, and if not a single person thought to say, maybe we should allow for more than 2 weapons, then they're lacking in this thing I like to call common sense. Speaking of common sense, how can an editor advertise itself as having endless possibilities, yet be built around the idea that all players can do is snap fucking pre-made rooms together? Who thought this was a good idea?
We wanted to provide players the opportunity to create their own content. It is just part of the heritage and legacy of not only Doom, but of id. I mean...
What's more baffling is that they didn't just port over single-player assets that could have easily been recycled. I mean, they did, but only a few months after release, so no big deal, guys, right? Even with that update, only a few big set-piece rooms reported, not the smaller building block rooms that were needed. SnapMap's biggest problems are its fundamentals, you see. Off the bat, the idea that we can't truly create interconnected custom rooms is a nonsensical limitation that goes against what Doom is known for and the single player itself takes advantage of. But there's an even bigger problem. See, that limitation was partly worked around in later updates, you'll notice a running theme here, with the player blocking volume that was able to be textured, allowing for pseudo-custom rooms or custom geo environments. But one thing ingrained in SnapMap's DNA that hasn't and most likely will never be patched out and ruins it beyond repair is the balancing. You see, SnapMap uses Doom's multiplayer assets, I assume because it allows for a staggering 4-player co-op. But rather than do something logical, like make a single-player mode option, this is what we're stuck with. The result is weapons behave how they do in the multiplayer. This changes their rate of fire, accuracy, damage, ammo capacity, and animations for some reason. And the most confusing of all, sounds. For some reason they decided the multiplayer needed to have worse, less responsive sounding weapons, and this was crammed into SnapMap. Since the guns are balanced around shooting other players and not demons, all the guns are significantly weaker than they are in the single player. Why? Your guess is as good as mine. The alt-fires were also removed because the multiplayer didn't have them, like the zoom on the super shotgun that narrows the spread, which was actually added to the multiplayer in updates, but not in SnapMap because, you know, of course. While alt-fires were added to SnapMap eventually, it took an eternity, which is obscenely an atrocity. Some like the Super Shotgun Zoom still haven't been added at all, even though others like the Micro Missile mod were included and even added their Mastery upgrade versions. While you can adjust things like ammo capacity, damage, and rate of fire, you can't do so for individual weapons, nor can you perfectly replicate their values from the single player, because we don't know what the fuck those are. But even if that was addressed, I don't see an option to use the single player assets for sound and animations. The Gauss Cannon only carries 4 shots, like it does in the multiplayer. But in there it's an insta-kill power weapon, so that balance makes sense. In SnapMap, it's just a useless piece of shit that only fires 4 shots. The rocket launcher on the other hand is a common loadout weapon, non-instant kill, so it had to be balanced as such. In SnapMap, it's fucking useless, which can be said for basically all weapons except the super shotgun, which is insanely overpowered compared to the single player where it's already overpowered. There's no reason to use anything other than the super shotgun. Ever. Good luck balancing a map around any other weapons because nothing works like it should. But wait, surely you can change the demon's health and it will solve all of these problems. Oh child, if only it was so simple. The problem with the guns being different for no reason translates over to the demons as well. It's not just that their health levels are off, their behavior is stupid and slow. A sharp contrast to the AI behavior on Nightmare. A Pinky in the single player, on Nightmare, can only be killed from its weak point on the back, otherwise you face a ridiculously strong bullet sponge. In SnapMap, there's little to no difference between a Pinky being shot from the back or front, and its charge is completely ineffectual. Like in the 5 minutes it takes to open SnapMap, the Pinky just sat around getting drunk. A campaign Pinky is so much faster, more accurate, and a much bigger challenge because of the weak point. Here it can just be slaughtered by one super shotgun blast to the face, or a few shots from almost any weapon. A demon that slowly lumbers around, does an inaccurate bumbling charge, crashes into walls half the time, and barely has any health, is no longer an interesting enemy. But you know, being the optimist that I am, I stuck with it. Tried my best to make some good Doom levels, which only made it all seem that much more limited. I came to the conclusion that the new disposability of enemies in this mode could allow me to do more wide open fights with a larger demon count. As compensation, it could work. Then, to my horror, I realized there's a fucking 12 demon limit. Come on, Id. You're just fucking with me now. You can't actually be this goddamn stupid. Who's the prankster behind this? Was it this guy?
Because the game doesn't care, the game doesn't even know.
Caco demons can be effortlessly slaughtered in 2 super shotgun blasts. Revenants miss all their shots, like you can literally walk right past them because their melee range is so decreased. And the Baron had his cunning AI butchered, reduced to a lackey with his health cut in half to boot. To make compelling large-scale fights, you're forced to rely on timers and spawn triggers upon demon's death. Meaning a large-scale fight is almost impossible unless you use some really creative thinking to work within the limitations. If you want a room full of relentless demons to kill, the fact that more than 12 can't be on screen at the same time has to be hidden very carefully. The tactic I like to use is to have an initial small amount of larger demons, such as 2 Mancubi, who gives a shit, surrounded by fodder such as an imp, and immediately as the fodder is slaughtered, progressively spawn in Caco demons and Hell Knights. Or something. This gives the illusion that there's more demons in the room than there really is, and it kinda works, but in a motherfucking Doom game, this limitation is unforgivable, made worse by how weak and stupid the demons in SnapMap mode are. Oftentimes, in my attempts to make more wide open fights, this problem kept slapping me in the face. Long range combat doesn't work because the demons can't aim or lead shots worth a shit, and none of your long range weapons do any damage. Now, in ShitMap's defense, it did make the combat shotgun more effective than the single player, as in it's a viable gun now. But that's only because it has the balance settings from the multiplayer. Fuck, when attempting to design levels, I constantly found myself resorting to tight spaces or arenas made difficult to navigate because that's the only way to make combat challenging with such idiotic AI and a 12 demon limit. Say I wanted to have some possessed scientists in one room, then a bunch of soldiers and imps in the next. Sounds simple, right? But no, fuck you, this is SnapMap. Before the player can progress into the soldier room, I first have to ensure the zombies from the previous one are dead or removed from the map. Despite their gameplay function as cannon fodder, they still count as one of the 12 demons, meaning the next room can't have all the demons I wanted just because I wanted to start the level with some zombie men. You're all but forced to use lockdown arenas, something I always try to avoid, or some kind of workaround to keep the player from progressing before all the demons are dead. Leaving a single demon alive can ruin the rest of your map because it prevents any more being spawned in until those are dead. Trying to express how moronic this 12 demon limit is actually hurts my brain. The PC version of SnapMap has a different control scheme than on console, which is great. It allows for more accurate designing. But with this acknowledgement that PC is different, I'm just more baffled that no one thought to remove some of these ridiculous limitations. Some people are running more powerful hardware than what's on consoles. But wait, there's more. In order to get around all these restrictions and actually make something resembling fun, it takes network. Every little node plays adds to this counter. Once it reaches 100, you're shit out of luck. Retarded in its own right, it wouldn't be so bad if I wasn't forced to use so much of my network to simply work within SnapMap's faults, of which there are many. Updates slowly trickled in at a snail's pace, addressing some of these issues, and legitimately expanding on SnapMap in a meaningful way. But it took forever, and all this shit should have been present on launch. Believe it or not, I have a lot of fun in SnapMap. It's the first thing I started up upon purchasing the game. Imagine my disappointment. Getting better and better at making fun levels is one of the biggest reasons I've stuck with Doom for so long. It's frustrating to think essential updates like additional single player consistency weren't there to begin with. Eventually there was an update added to play as Doom Guy. Eventually the single player campaign intro was added. Eventually we got weapon mods. Eventually we could create custom environments. Eventually we could make multi-level campaigns. Eventually we could use the weapon wheel. Eventually, while making this video, as of July 19th, 2017, an option to remove network limitations for single player maps was released, but it was too little, like over a year, too late. Now SnapMap will go down in history as this little novelty piece of shit no one cares about. I just don't get it. If all the single player stuff is already there, why'd it have to be added in so much later? Why'd they think basic features like the weapon wheel weren't essential? This is the kind of shit that drove people away on launch. Especially when compared to other console editors like Halo's Forge, SnapMap is amazing, so don't get the wrong idea. There's a lot of customization options and possibilities that make it a great tool, but not for what matters. Creating new single player levels. For some godforsaken reason, the developers seem to all but admit that SnapMap is more tailored for creating multiplayer or gimmick-centered minigames, which is unbelievably retarded when again, there's a 12 demon limit in multiplayer for only up to 4 people. I'm curious to know how 4 players are supposed to have fun fighting 12 demons on the lowest difficulty setting. No one plays Doom for a fucking tower defense minigame or music maker. They play it to shoot demons, which the developers realize as they create an entire game around that idea. The community, SnapHub, has already demonstrated that these new experiences SnapMap seems to prioritize are boring, shallow, and unsatisfying to play. I would imagine trying to make something satisfying for 4 players would prove more difficult than something for 1. Aside from the fundamental issues, the other biggest problems are the SnapHub community rating system and the fact that all maps are cross-platform. While cross-platforming is a great idea for longevity and accessibility, in the end, it only means we get more restrictions, like the network and demon limits that I can promise you are only in place because it all needs to run on consoles. This compensation would make sense if both the PC and console player base had any real interest in SnapMaps, but no one gives a shit, and it itself is to blame for that. While the SnapHub seems to be designed with the best of intentions, it fails to take into account that users are lazy and have short attention spans. And who can blame them? When SnapMap launched in such an awful fucking state, I'm just kidding. Of course you can blame them. You see, the reason I imagine for not having Doom Guy be playable on launch is because of all the cosmetic reward systems in place. Players get currency for raiding and playing other users' maps. Currency can then be spent on thumbnail designs for your maps, weapon skins, and armor customization, all of which is very in-depth and ripped straight from the multiplayer. It's a great idea on paper. Everyone wants to play new, interesting maps, and you're rewarded for doing so while also feeding into the raiding system. On paper. In reality, this just means point rewarding minigames and whatever else was previously on the front page is pushed to the top. That stuff never stops being what's most popular and top rated. Made worse by the fact that the SnapMap player base has already died out. I'm not saying anyone should have stuck around, especially when you have to wait months for basic features to be added. I am saying it screwed the pooch and ruined what could have otherwise been great. I believe if these issues were worked out and the updates for SnapMap were present on launch, people might have stuck around and made some really fun content, instead of booting up once, realizing it's shit, and never touching again because they would have to wait 5 minutes for the fucking loading screen. So who's to blame? What was the reasoning behind this retardation? Who knows? No one cares enough to ask or provide an explanation.
Because the game doesn't care, the game doesn't even know.
Stop laughing, it's not funny.